Hi friends, welcome back to Food Prep Guide. We are back in the kitchen today with a much requested video. We have had several of you comment on YouTube videos and email us in asking about what foods do I specifically dehydrate the most often, but also what foods dehydrate the best for meals in jars. So this video today is top 7 foods to dehydrate for lots of meals and meals in jars. Number 1 for me is carrots. I dehydrate these in slices and shreds, just depending on what recipe is being used. And these primarily go in like our chicken and dumplings and different types of soups and stews. If you blanch them first, they retain their beautiful orange color beautifully. Next is frozen mixed veggies. You can absolutely purchase those frozen veggies mixes when they're on sale in your freezer aisle. You can just pop open the bag, put them on your trays, and dehydrate. You don't have to do any blanching, no chopping. It's a very fast way to line your shelves fast with good whole foods. We primarily use these in our fried rice dishes and our soup, stews, and casseroles. Next up is dehydrated cabbage, and I don't see this talked about enough. I am on several Facebook groups about food preservation and canning and dehydrating and all those things, and everyone's favorites are like your typical peppers and onions, and I just don't see cabbage listed enough, and it is so versatile. So I like to shred it and I blanch it because it retains the beautiful green color, but besides color retention, it rehydrates better when you blanch it first. If you don't blanch it first, the shredded cabbage can be kind of rubbery when you rehydrate it, so you definitely want to blanch it first. As long as you do, it rehydrates beautifully. Beautiful texture, absolutely delicious. We have a fried cabbage side dish that we use this in. We have an unstuffed cabbage roll casserole. We actually have a video on that recipe. I will link that above. And also just in our, you can have like an egg roll in a bowl. Anything that you can use cabbage in, if you can rehydrate it, it can be used wonderfully from a dehydrated state. If you're wanting to use it in something like coleslaw, you can, but it's just not going to give you that crisp. It's not going to give you that crisp bite that you expect with coleslaw, but it still works. It still tastes good. Next is corn. This is something that I also, like the frozen veggies, I also buy the frozen bags when they're on sale, and I just toss them on my trays and dehydrate so that they're ready on my shelf. We don't eat corn a whole lot, so to store canned corn, it just takes up more space than what I want to dedicate to corn. And when you dehydrate, you can store a lot more in less space. There are 3 bags of frozen mixed vegetables in this 1 pint jar. So that gives you an idea of how much space you can save by dehydrating. And you don't have to blanch it first, but you do want to rehydrate it pretty well before using it, or if you're using it in soups and stews, something with lots of liquid, you can just toss this straight in. I use this in my meal in a jars a lot. Next is beans. I know that probably sounds weird because who dehydrates beans? Well, I do. A lot of people do. They are fantastic for meals in a jars. Why would you want to dehydrate beans? And we dehydrate beans because we store them in bulk. I'm talking 50-pound sacks that you can get for pennies on the dollar, and they save a lot of space when you cook them and then dehydrate them. And as far as how this compares to canned green beans, first of all, I don't have to go through the whole pressure canning process. Beans have to be pressure canned, and pressure canning is a little more involved than water bath canning. So I just prefer to have dehydrated beans on hand. They're basically just add water, instant beans. Think of your instant rice at the store, where you just add water and it's ready in 5 to 10 minutes. That's what your instant beans are dehydrated. We have a whole tutorial on how to dehydrate beans and why. I'll link that above. Next is bell peppers. Bell peppers. Now this is actually something that I don't dehydrate, that I don't grow myself and dehydrate. I don't even purchase whole peppers to dehydrate. And that's because, number 1, peppers are expensive. Number 2, you need a lot of them in order to get this much of a volume. But I'll tell you what, Amazon has a brand, I can't remember what it was. I'll link it, I'll find it and I'll link it in the description box below. But they go on sale every 2 months or so. and I'm talking like 50% off. And you can get a number 10 can for about $15 whenever it goes on sale, like every 2 months or so. And that's when I stock up. A number 10 can fills 2 quarts and 1 pint, to give you an idea of how much volume you can expect from a number 10 can. In order to grow or even just buy and dehydrate 2 quart jars worth plus a pint jar, you're going to have to spend a whole lot more than $15, $17 that you can already buy it already done for you. So that's what I do with my bell peppers. Next is potatoes, and I do grow them, but I dehydrate them 3 different ways: dices, slices, and shreds. And that is because potatoes are just multi-purpose. I mean, of course, you know that. Hash browns, chunks for your stews, slices for your, what's that called? What are those sliced potato dishes called? Au gratin, yes, au gratin potatoes, and they're also work really well in your meal in jars as well. And potatoes are one of those things that you absolutely have to blanch first before you dehydrate them, or they'll turn a really nasty dark brown blackish color, and it's just really unappetizing. Nobody wants to eat it. Ask my kids. But so I blanch them now, and they always turn out beautifully. I use these so much, y'all, that I have dedicated a standalone cabinet. I have one whole shelf for each type of potato. So I have a whole shelf of nothing but sliced potatoes, a whole shelf of nothing but shredded, a whole shelf of nothing but dice, and it just makes meal times very quick, very fast, and cheap, because potatoes are cheap. Now that's my top 7. Here's a bonus that I just wanted to throw in there, and that is instant rice. We talked about minute rice earlier when I was talking about the beans. Minute rice is just rice that has been cooked and then dehydrated. And it's not very expensive at the store, but if you purchase your rice in bulk, like 25 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, you're paying a lot less than you would at the store. So using that bulk rice to then create your instant rice is just going to save you even more money. And it is so easy. You just cook it however you want to. I cook mine in the Instant Pot, equal parts rice and water, a little bit of a pat of butter, a little dash of salt, 6 minutes pressure cook time, and it's done. Then I throw them on my dehydrator trays, and what you end up with is instant, just add water rice that comes together in 4 or 5 minutes cook time. Okay, y'all, I think that's it. Top 7 must-have foods to dehydrate for making a lot of meals and meals in jars. Hope y'all enjoy. See you on the next video.